Okay, everybody. So, on to our next guest, and we're travelling this time to Yorkshire. So, Yorkshire, if you don't know, is part of England. Really nice in Yorkshire, although the weather's always pretty bad. So, Kate's probably, I don't know, a few hundred miles away from me. So, I'd like to welcome Kate Chayton Norris to everybody. So, welcome, Kate. She is a nutritional therapist in the UK and also a author. So welcome to you, Kate. Nice to have you on the show for our lovely audience. So, if you just tell us a bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, I've been practicing as a nutritional therapist for about 12 years. Um, just the best job in the world. I love it. Being able to help people, get their bodies back on track gives me a huge buzz. And yes, I live in Yorkshire with my two crazy spaniels. Um, and yeah, so kind of work wise, I do um, one-to-ones, but I also do workshops and things like that, just to sort of help spread the word. Not everybody wants to come for a one-to-one, but if you can get a workshop of people together, helps to kind of spread the word about the huge impact that what we're eating has on our health. So yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm very happy bunny.
yeah,
I
excellent.
suppose that was the reason. Sorry, that was the reason why I wrote my book, because I just thought, not everybody's going to come and see me, and so many people had said to me, when they were sitting on my sofa, gosh, why did my doctor not tell me this? All this stuff about the environment and how it affects our body and all those kind of things. So yeah, no, it's just I feel I'm always on my soapbox, kind of trying to spread the word.
Excellent. That's really good. So, yeah, and it's good to have an author on the show as well. So, that's fantastic. Okay, so I've got some questions for you, and obviously our audience have already sent in some questions as well.
Mm.
And number one question is great question. Due to the world situation at the moment, it is important that we keep our immune systems as strong as possible. Do you have any top tips for this to boosting our immune system?
Oh gosh, yes. I mean, as an overall picture, it's about lightening the load on the body, so that the immune system can work as best it can. But getting more specific with regards to diet, um, I would say trying to reduce your sugar is a real big one. I know it's such a boring thing. Everybody's saying, "Oh, reduce the sugar," but effectively, when we have too much sugar in our system, it the sugar in our bloodstream will stick to things, and it's definitely sticks to our white blood cells, which obviously is part of our immune system. And if you've got a white blood cell with a bit of sugar stuck to it, it can't do its job properly. Um, so it's a kind of sugar has been deemed as a fuel, and yes, it is a fuel, but I think with our Western diet, it's become very carbohydrate and sugar based. And a lot of people don't realize that fat is a really, really good fuel for people to be running on as well. Fat's been rather demonized as being bad for us and giving us heart disease, and that is absolutely not the case. Um, the kind of obesity pandemic that we've got in this, particularly in the West, is very much coming because our diet has become so carbohydrate and sugar based. Your typical breakfast is kind of toast and cereal. You've got sandwiches for lunch, and then people often have kind of pasta or potatoes or rice at supper time. So there's just this overload, and although things like a slice of bread is not sweet when you eat it, the end result is sugar in the bloodstream. So it's not just the sugar, it's also kind of carbohydrates, and particularly refined carbohydrates. Um, the other thing that is really, really important, I think, overall for health is to make sure that you're having enough protein. I would always say, make sure that you're having protein at every meal. Again, back to that kind of typical breakfast, often it's just a kind of carb dump. And so getting a bit of protein in at breakfast, either have an egg. I'm a huge fan of eggs. Nuts and seeds sprinkled in your porridge if you like a nice big bowl of porridge. Porridge is great, but it's just a great big bowl of carbohydrate. So if we can kind of put a bit of protein in it, it will last you much longer. It keeps your blood sugar levels much more even, which again is, if your blood sugar levels are swinging up and down, that's quite stressful for the body. Stress means that your immune system is not going to work as well as it should do. Brightly coloured fruit and vegetables, huge. When our immune system is working well, one of the ways it kills bugs is to kind of fire free radicals at them. When we eat brightly coloured fruit and vegetables, we help to dampen down the damage that can occur when the immune system is trying to kill things. Because when the immune system fires out free radicals, it doesn't, it's not specific enough just to get the bug. There might be a bit of collateral damage. So we need to be eating our lovely brightly coloured fruit and veg to help calm that down and repair whatever damage has happened. With regards to kind of specific nutrients, the 3 amigos, which I would always go to, is making sure that you've got good vitamin C, vitamin D, absolutely key, and particularly for us lot in the kind of northern hemisphere, where we just don't get enough sunshine, and even in the summer, if you get good sunshine, you need to be outside, with a lot of your clothes off. A bit of face and arms is just, it doesn't cut the mustard. It doesn't top up your vitamin D levels enough to mean that you can kind of get through the winter, where we probably don't see the light of day for weeks on end. So yeah, that's important. And but getting your doctors to kind of check vitamin D levels, really important. Just bear in mind that most conventional medicine vitamin D reference ranges are a bit on the low side. I would always say you want to be at the absolute top end of what they are recommending. And then zinc is another one, really, really important for the immune system. Oysters are the highest zinc food, but that's not terribly practical. Not everybody wants to tackle oysters, but nuts and seeds and meat is particularly good. So yeah, those are my kind of basics for keeping your immune system strong from a food point of view.
Yeah, okay, that's great. And I've got a client at the moment who had COVID for 3 weeks. Then he started to get back better for a week, and then he got a chest infection, and he got a cold. So he's literally poor bloke. So really working on it, work on his immune system at the moment, because that is unlucky, and it must be shot to pieces for that much. So yeah.
No, and then the trouble is that you just never get on top of things. So you spend the whole of the winter bouncing from, as you say, chest infections and colds and sore throats and all sorts of stuff, which is miserable. But it is possible, to get everything back on track. But you do really have to give your body a bit of TLC and make it a bit of a project.
Yeah, and it's good as well that you've mentioned those key foods as well, for the vitamin C and D and zinc, because a lot of people say to me, well, it's okay, I take a supplement that I got from Poundland or B&M, and they think that just by taking one little supplement of vitamin C or D, that's going to sort them out and they'll be amazing. No, it's not.
No, it's really not enough.
No,
it is depressing that the food that we are growing in the world is generally pretty deficient in nutrients. So I would say it is quite hard to have optimal levels of nutrients in your body without taking a supplement. But again, the supplements that people are taking, you really get what you pay for. And the cheaper supplements tend to, for example, when we're talking about zinc, the zinc is always chelated with something else. So it might be zinc sulfate or zinc citrate or zinc oxide. But the cheap ones that go in the cheap supplements means that the zinc is attached to something that it's very hard for the body to break down. So it's quite hard for the body to get the zinc off the chelated item. for you to actually be able to absorb it. So very often, as people say, you just have expensive wee because it's not, your body can't get it, which is frustrating.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, I'm glad that you're on the same wavelength as me on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Are there other things that can affect our immune systems apart from food and nutrition?
Oh gosh, how long have you got? Here, lots. Sleep, for starters, absolutely so important. It's a hugely undervalued activity. We do so many important things when we are asleep. Lots of kind of regeneration and repair in the body, but also the more you sleep, the less inflammation you're going to have in your body. So inflammation is basically your body's immune system activation. You know, if there's anything wrong in the body, whether you have a bacterial infection or a viral infection, or you have stress, or you have, an accident, your body will always produce inflammation, and that's brilliant. That kind of acute inflammation deals with the emergency, but as time goes on and as life grinds us down, we can get to the situation where inflammation becomes chronic, and that's when it does the damage. And the more sleep that you have, the less inflammation you have, the less activation of your immune system in the wrong way. So then it's got sort of fuel in the tank to really go and attack when it needs to fight a bug. That kind of makes sense. And another thing that is a massive immune suppressant is stress. So effectively, our stress response is completely out of date. We're still working in bodies that were created to deal with kind of caveman life. And in those days, stress was very likely to be threatening. You bump into your saber-toothed tiger, woolly mammoth, crazy club-wielding caveman, that kind of thing. And for that, your body would have to fight or run away. And what happens, with chronic 21st century stress, which is not life-threatening, but your body still reacts in that way. So your heart rate goes up, you get sugar flooding into the bloodstream for you to do your fighting or running away. But of course, if you don't do any exercise, you don't burn that sugar off. So the sugar in the bloodstream, can be sticking to things that, like the immune system, that it shouldn't. It's kind of like your body puts all its resources into the fight flight, but it means that all housekeeping jobs get put on the back burner. So things like your digestion, your immune system, your ability to detox, regeneration, repair, all of those get shelved, because actually, if you've got a saber-toothed tiger to fight, that is not important. But when you've got the kind of situation of long-term chronic stress, it means that those housekeeping jobs are permanently shelved, and it has a huge impact on the body. So for me, I guess, stress is probably the big one. Just having an awareness of how your body is feeling and whether it's kind of feeling safe and calm is a really, really important part of optimal wealth. Although I'm, just kind of deal with nutrition, I feel that you've got to kind of look at the whole picture to really, somebody has got imbalance and the body is producing symptoms. The other thing that I think has a real impact is toxins in our environment. So, we've created this incredible world, but unfortunately within it, we have a lot of man-made substances. And they are things that the body doesn't recognize. So anything the body doesn't recognize, you're calling in the immune system troops to investigate. It kind of has to be treated as an enemy. So if you've got lots of toxicity in the body, which we all have, I think I was reading in a study the other day, they were testing the blood in the umbilical cord, and they found, I think it was 70 different chemicals in there which shouldn't be there, and you just think, oh my God, our babies are arriving and they've already been exposed to all that stuff. So yes, that kind of toxicity just it constantly keeps the immune system busy, and when you've got an immune system that is permanently stressed, that's when we can flip into an autoimmune situation where your body stops, well, the immune system stops being able to differentiate between your own tissue and infections or bad guys. And so it will start to attack your own tissue, and the amount of immunity, autoimmunity that I'm seeing is rising enormously. When I first started practicing 12 years ago, it was quite rare, and now literally, you know, most of my clients have some kind of autoimmune situation, which is all reversible, I will have to say. You know, I think the message out there is that once you get it, that's it. It really isn't. You know, our bodies are incredibly fabulous, miraculous machines, and they have this amazing ability to heal themselves, but it often takes quite a lot of hard work, and really changing your environment and mindset to get things kind of back on track.
Yeah, wow, that's really good, and it is good what you just said, that you can fix it, because as you say, so many people think, oh, once you got it, no, you can't change it, but you can. Yeah, I've not heard the one about the 70 toxins in the baby before. That is worrying.
Really shocking.
Yeah, that is awful. Yeah. Oh dear. Yes, we've had another question from Andy, and the question says, if you want a balanced lifestyle that is healthy but also treat yourself, what would your fridge of 6 items look like?
Oh, blimey. Right. Okay. So, well, we want treats, but we also want health. Okay. Well, my number one that should hopefully be in everybody's fridge is broccoli. That's just, for me, that is the king of the vegetables. It, you know, it contains all sorts of stuff, but particularly liver supporting nutrients, which helps us detox. Treats, butter, full fat. Ideally grass-fed butter would be absolutely amazing. Some kind of fermented food, maybe some sauerkraut or some kefir or kind of live yogurt. I mean, again, when we're talking about immune systems, keeping the bacterial balance in our gut is so important. I mean, you know, to put it into perspective, for every 1 cell in your body, you have 10 bacteria in your gut. So keeping that balance right has a really profound effect on your whole well-being. So I would always recommend that people have some kind of fermented food in their life. What have we got? So we got broccoli, a bit of dark chocolate, without doubt. Yes. Love a bit of dark chocolate. But you know, I would say 85%, you know, cocoa plus, rather than, you know, because actually people find that the really dark chocolate is much more satisfying. It's not pushing all those addictive buttons nearly as much as something like milk chocolate would. What else would I have in there? Sprouted seeds. I don't know if that's a bridge too far. They are incredibly easy to do. I think people think you have to have lots of complicated trays and stuff. There's an amazing, the jars you can get, you know, with a sieve top, where you just put a few seeds in the bottom, fill it up with water, you know, soak it overnight, drain it morning and night, and in a few days you've got sprouts. It really is very simple, but that by sprouting the seed, it means you're making the nutrients much more bioavailable, which is a kind of trendy word for much more easily absorbed by your body. Right, where are we? We got 5 things.
5 so far, yeah.
Oh Lord. Yes, I'm trying to kind of keep it healthy. I don't have we had enough treats? I always have things like olives.
Yeah,
in
good
the
choice.
fridge, because olives are, you know, for that kind of, when you just kind of feel that you need something, they're always great. You can just sort of grab quickly, rather than, you know, heading for something that's a bit more complicated or sort of not quite so good for you. I always try, if possible, to keep my snacks savoury. That's my kind of rule of thumb. And you know, because the whole sugar thing just, yeah, causes so many problems.
Brilliant. Okay, those fantastic answers. Yeah, I've got quite a few of those in my fridge as well, so
Brilliant.
that's a good choice. Yeah, and I'm going to investigate these sprouted seeds as well. Definitely get some of them.
Well, if you, it's a bio snacky jar. Those are the jars that I use, and they're really good.
Excellent. Okay, so we've run out of time for many more questions, but I believe you've got a free offer for us, or a special promotion.
Yeah, well, if anybody wants to get hold of my book, which is this, I don't know if you can see it. So, I wish my doctor had told me this. There is more to our healing than medication. And it basically, you know, we'll talk about stuff that I've been talking about, but a lot more. You know, if you're wanting to know about, you know, what's toxic in our environment, there's just, you know, loads of stuff, and a lot of stuff on stress and, you know, rebalancing the spirit and all that kind of thing. So if anybody wants to buy it, you're best off to go to my website, Kate Chaytor Norris. That's it. So if you put that in, it will come up. And if you put in the code book20, that will give you 20% off.
Fabulous. Okay.
So, I will go and put that code on my website now. So,
fabulous, and I'll put that in the chat as well, so everyone's got a copy of that as well. So brilliant. Thank you very much, Kate. That was fantastic. It's great to have you on the show. I'm sure our audience will really appreciate that. So fantastic. And we'll speak to you soon. And yeah, we really appreciate what you've